You're watching F5. We're at GovWare 2022 in Singapore. Great cybersecurity conference here. It's the biggest one in Asia, about 10,000 attendees that come to this. And special attendee, Joel Moses, who's Chief Technology Officer, Distinguished Engineer, Platforms and Systems. Did I miss anything?
You've got the basics of it for sure.
That's awesome. Joel does a lot of stuff at F5. And so one of the things that Joel was doing this week was actually, you're part of a panel this week?
That's correct. A panel on the discussion of technology changes and how it affects cybersecurity. Yeah.
Can you give us a bit of a synopsis of what was discussed?
Actually, I got the easy to explain and fluffy topic of how quantum computing is going to affect cybersecurity, and it's a difficult topic to handle, but I hope I did it justice there.
And I guess that's pretty open-ended, like how that's interpreted?
Oh, it is. So quantum computing, we're designing quantum-safe systems to coexist existing computing systems with quantum computers. Quantum computers of a general purpose type are not possible right now, but they can be designed to handle specific problem sets, and some of those problem sets are very tied to how we do cryptography. And build crypto systems. Those systems can be potentially compromised by quantum computing as it exists today. So that's why NIST develops advanced algorithms, and those algorithms are designed to be resistant to the quantum computing of today. But the point that I made in the panel is that it's something we have to keep up with year over year. So it's something a cybersecurity person needs to be aware of and needs to plan for, not just 2 years out, but 10 years out at least.
Well, how do you plan for something 10 years out in technology?
Diligence and, quite frankly, a lot of math.
Oh, that's awesome. Any other topics they had you go through today or yesterday?
Yeah, there was a lot of conversation about the things that cybersecurity professionals typically miss when they're analyzing their applications for the attack surface. One of the things that I pointed out is that we always think about attack surface as being what happens from the front door back to where the application is. We forget that the application executes just as much in the browser as it does in the data center. And a lot of times people inject certain things or use certain things that cause the application to ask for additional external content for which a security person has no visibility whatsoever. So whenever you're analyzing things for an attack surface, you really want to analyze it holistically, not just what's in the data center and past the front door, but think about how your users are actually compositing that application. And that's important, and it's something people miss.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So any tips on how somebody goes about looking up more of that stuff?
Yeah, read up on things like content security policies. When you're mapping an application, don't just map the internal infrastructure, but map the external call structure that your browsers see. That'll point out some things probably that you don't know about your application.
Okay, $1 million question. How many people do you think actually do that?
Very, very few. We've studied a lot of applications, taking just the Alexa top 10,000, analyzing those, we see the use of a content security policy in only 6% of those applications. That has a variety of causes. Sometimes maybe a developer doesn't know how to configure a content security policy, or they're uncomfortable doing so because they don't know their application well enough. But it's something that you can get a knowledge of. You just have to study how your application works from both sides.
Very cool. And so, okay, let's pivot a little bit here. You're in Singapore this week. You've been to Singapore a couple times now. What do you think of the industry in Singapore or ASEAN in general?
It's fantastic. I mean, all you have to do is look around the show floor here. This is an immense amount of activity, especially after COVID. You know, this is an event that hasn't taken place for a few years, and it's come back roaring. I mean, there's a lot of excitement on the show floor. There are a lot of people who are interested in the technologies we have and that other cybersecurity vendors have. I'm amazed by the passion that I've experienced from the people that I've talked to.
That's cool, and I think the local team has you booked to see a lot of customers this week.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I love talking to customers.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. All right, so with that, on behalf of myself, Joel, thank you very much for the time. We're at GovWare 2022 in Singapore, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.